Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 50 Korok seeds here in the East Necluda region in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, so without further ado, let's jump into it. Our first two seeds are going to be found together on the far southeastern side of the map by Cape Kales. You'll see we're on the cliff side here where our little Korok buddy's going to be hanging out. And we're going to need to take him to the island that's way out into the ocean there, which obviously we're going to need an airplane to do so. You can drop him off the ledge and make a boat, but I don't think it's worth it. It's much easier to just make an airplane up here and take off. You will need a couple extra batteries on your wing so that you can make it. It is a good distance, but once you get over here, you can just crash land into the campsite. You'll see we'll drop down right here. Go ahead and take our little Korok buddy off. Drop him off with his friends. We'll be able to communicate and we'll get our first two seeds. Number 3 is pretty much going to be in the same area as our first two over on Cape Kales. You want to work your way over to this exact location, and once you're over here, just jump off the side and pull your glider. There's going to be a little ledge down here with a small rock. You can go ahead and pick up that rock. The Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 3. Number 4 is also going to be found over by Cape Kales. This one's a little bit further inland. You can see on the map we have a bunch of trees. There's going to be a big tree with a hole in the side with an acorn in there. So go ahead and hit that acorn with an arrow. The Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 4. Number 5 is going to be found down near Rimba Beach. You can see our exact location here on the screen, and it'll be pretty obvious when you get down here. You just want to look for the cluster of leaves that's hanging out on the beach. And once you take out those leaves, there'll be a rock that you can pick up. Once you pick up that rock, you'll get seed number 5. Number 6 is going to be found down at Soka Point, which is on the far eastern side of Cape Cresia. When you get down here, there's going to be a palm tree at the very end of this peninsula. Climb to the top of that palm tree, interact with the leaves that appear, and you'll get seed number 6. Seeds number 7 and 8 are going to be found together down on the eastern side of Palmyray Beach. You'll see that we have our little Korok buddy's going to be hanging out next to a palm tree. Go ahead and interact with him, and you'll see that we need to take him over to the peninsula by Soka Point. So you can actually carry him all the way around if you'd like. It's just going to take you a little bit of time. I recommend making an airplane and taking off from the beach here, as you can just fly over a little bit of water and make it to Soka Point. Go ahead and crash land into the campsite and interact, and you'll get your next two seeds. Number 9 is going to be found over by the Palmyray ruins. You can see our exact location here on the screen. There's going to be 2 pillars in the back. You want to climb on top of the pillar on the left side. And once you climb up to the top, the little leaves will appear. You can interact and we'll get seed number 9. Number 10 is going to be located on the southern side of Mount Dunzel. You can see we have a small pond down here, and you want to go up on the ledge that's just above the pond. You'll see we have a wooden stump. You can walk over that. The little yellow ring will spawn in the water and we can just drop down into it. Once you do, we'll get seed number 10. Number 11 is going to be on the peak of Tuft Mountain, just east of Yamby Lake. When you make it up here to the peak, you're going to find a pinwheel. When you walk near it, you'll have 3 balloons that spawn. The one in the middle will stand still, and the one on the edges are going to move back and forth. But once you hit all 3 of those, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 11. Number 12 and 13 are going to be found together down near the Clarinet Coast. You'll see we have 2 trees right on the shoreline here, and we're going to have a little Korok buddy hanging out near them. Once we interact with him, you'll see we need to take him all the way down the beach. Now, you can go on foot just by picking him up. However, you will encounter a monster base down there along the beach. So I recommend taking an airplane just so you don't have to stop and fight all those guys. And if you hop on your little airplane here, you can just fly right past them over to the campsite. Go ahead and crash land into it, interact, and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Numbers 14 and 15 are also going to be found together just west of Timto Hill. When you make it over here up on the ledge is going to be our little Korok friend who we need to help take to the other side of the beach. Now this time you're not going to encounter an enemy base, so you can just pick him up and walk him down the beach if you like. However, I never really enjoy doing that because it generally takes a little bit of time, even though this one's not that far away. So we're going to use an airplane to get down here. But we can go ahead and use recall to lift this thing up and take off. And once we fly over here, we can interact and we'll get our next 2 seeds. Number 16 is going to be found around the same area as our last one, just west of Timto Hill. You just want to get on top of the giant rock that's over here. You'll find a wooden stump that we can walk over on the ledge. And all we need to do is fly to the mountain across from us and walk up to the little yellow circle. And we'll be able to get seed number 16. Number 17 is going to be found on top of Timto Hill. You can see our exact location here on the screen. And once you make it up here, you'll see our little design of rocks on the ground with one missing. If we turn around and go up the hill here, you'll see a little rock that we can pick up. Go ahead and grab that, bring it back down, and drop it into the empty slot right here. A little poof will happen, our Korok will appear, and we'll get seed number 17. Number 18 is going to be found over by the Atun Valley. You can see where we're at. We're up on this little cliff side here. And once you're up here, you'll find another tree stump that we can walk on. Once you're on it, you need to jump and pull your glider. And we need to land on this target over here without touching the ground. And once you land on the target, the Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 18. Number 19 is going to be found just east of the Kia Pond up on this little mountain here. You'll see on the map, you actually have a little design of rocks. We need to move 2. The first one's going to be in the middle, pretty easy. Just pick this thing up, move it over a couple inches. And then right over here in the flowers is going to be our second rock. Go ahead and pick that up and turn around. As soon as you turn around, you'll see that our empty spot's going to be right here beside it. Once both of those are in place, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 19. Numbers 20 and 21 are going to be found together just south of the Rebella wetlands. You'll see we're on this little mountainside here. And once you come up here on the rocks, you'll find our little Korok buddy who needs help making it all the way on the bottom side of the mountain. Now again, you can pick him up and run him down here. I don't think there's any enemies on this path. However, this is a pretty good distance, so it will take you a little bit of time. So as always, I recommend using an airplane so that we can fly our way all the way down here. You can also use a vehicle and get down here pretty easily if you want to take a car. But airplane, always the best way to go. Hit the crash landing, drop off the Korok, and we'll get our next 2 seeds. Number 22 is also going to be just south of the Rebella wetlands. You'll see we have a little pond down here, and there's a tree in the middle of that pond. If you go across to the rock, you'll see we have a cluster of leaves that's just traveling around the tree. Interact with those, and you'll get seed number 22. Number 23 is going to be found over at the Uten Marsh, and you want to come to this exact location on the eastern side. There's going to be a claw that's got this little rock formation next to it. If you climb the claw that has the rocks next to it, once you get to the very end of the claw, you guys will see that our little leaves appear. We can interact with them, and we'll get Korok seed number 23. Number 24 can be found just north of the Uten Marsh up on this mountainside here. And once you get up here, you're going to find there's a tree with absolutely no leaves on it. If you climb all the way to the top of this tree, our little cluster of leaves will spawn. We can interact with them and get seed number 24. Number 25 is going to be found on the Mount Terran Peak that's just north of the Skyview Tower. You can see our location. We're going to have another tree stump, and when you step on this thing, our yellow circle is going to spawn on the other peak that's all the way across. You are on a timer, but you should make it over here in time as long as you keep moving. The Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 25. Number 26 is going to be found just northwest of the Rebella wetlands. You guys will see a giant tree on your map here. When you work your way over to this tree, walk toward the pinwheel in the corner and then turn around. There'll be a balloon that spawns behind the tree on the other side. Go ahead and hit that thing with an arrow and you'll get seed number 26. Number 27 is going to be found on the peak of Maida Mountain, which is just northeast of the Rebella wetlands. Once you make it up here, there's going to be a puzzle we need to solve. Go ahead and pick up the piece here, and this is actually just going to attach to the corner. So rotate this thing to fit as a corner piece, lock it into place, the Korok will appear, and you will get seed number 27. Number 28 is going to be found over by the Stinger Cliffs. You'll see up on the mountainside, there's a really small pond up top. When you make it to that pond, you'll see a cork in the middle. Just use Ultra Hand and dunk that cork underwater. It'll shoot up into the sky, and we'll get seed number 28. For number 29, you want to head just northeast of the Stinger Cliffs. You're going to see a really small pond on your map here. And if you go up on the rocks that's right next to that pond, you can then jump off and dive down in the middle of the lily pads. And once you do, you'll get seed number 29. Number 30 is going to be found over by the Marbled Plain. You'll see that we actually have an enemy base up here on the hill. The easiest way to do this is to throw a rocket on your shield and fly all the way up and land on top of the rock part of this base. And on top of this thing is going to be a small rock that you can pick up. Pick that thing up and you'll get seed number 30. Number 31 is going to be found over by the giant tree on the hill that's right next to Lake Jara. You can see our location. And when you walk up to this tree in this little courtyard area, you're going to see a cluster of leaves just moving around the ground. Go ahead and interact with those, and you'll get seed number 31. Number 32 is going to be found right over where we got our last seed, right next to Lake Jara. And when you get over here, there'll be a cabin that's pretty easy to spot. All you need to do is climb up on top of that cabin and go to the edge. So a little cluster of leaves will spawn in. And when you interact with those, you'll get seed number 32. Number 33 is going to be found over here right next to the Camphor Pond. There's actually a giant rock formation right next to the pond. If you climb up on top of that, you'll find a tree stump. When you walk over it, it'll spawn a target. Land on that target without touching the ground, and you'll get seed number 33. Number 34 and 35 are going to be found together right alongside the Fur River here up on the cliffside. You're going to find our little Korok buddy who needs help making it to the small village all the way on top of the mountain. Now, this is an extremely long distance away, so I would pretty much guarantee that you need to use an airplane. If you try to do this on foot, it's going to take you an insane amount of time. So definitely take the time to make an airplane so that you can fly your way over. As you can see, there is a path that you can follow to get there. So if you don't have any other option but to go on foot, you can. But again, it'll take you forever. But once you get over here, just interact and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Number 36 is also going to be found along the Fur River over by this little rock bridge on our map. Once you make it over here, if you look down, you'll see a circle of lily pads. All you need to do is jump off and dive through the middle of them, and you'll get seed number 36. Number 37 and 38 are going to be found together along the river on the northwestern side of the Cliffs of Quincy. You'll find our little Korok buddy hanging out by the river. Now this one is pretty easy. You really just need to take him across the river. If you want to do it on foot, you just extend him out, but there are a bunch of enemies on the other side. So I decided to use an airplane just so I don't have to fight them all and I can just fly over top. But again, you can see it's not too far, not too difficult at all. But once you land, drop them off and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Number 39 is going to be found in the exact same spot that we just helped the Korok buddy get across the river, except if this time you look up, you're going to see a little balloon in the archway here. Go ahead and hit that with an arrow. Once you do, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 39. Number 40 is going to be found over by the Cliffs of Quincy. You want to work your way all the way to the top of the mountain here, and once you make it up top, you're going to find a cork. Now what you need to do is take this giant stone slab here and bring it over to the cork, and we're going to attach it. We'll use Ultra Hand to grab the end that's hanging, attach it to the slab, and then extend the slab as far out as you can, and then just drop it. It'll pull the other side out, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 40. Number 41 is going to be found on the little cliff that's just south of Oakley's navel. If you go up on top of the cliff overlooking the water and look down, you'll see there's a little ledge that has a small rock on it. Drop down to that ledge, pick up the rock, and you'll get seed number 41. Numbers 42 and 43 are going to be found together just east of Oakley's navel up on this mountainside. You're going to find our little Korok buddy, and he's going to need help getting all the way down directly below us. Now you can make an airplane for this one if you want. I decided not to since it's super close. I kind of regret it. But if you don't make any vehicle, all you need to do is just keep dropping him over the ledges, and you'll see we'll eventually make it down to the bottom where the water is. You can then pick him up, bring him over to the campsite, interact, and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Number 44 is going to be found on the same mountain that we just found our last little Korok buddy on. We just need to go a little bit further up the mountain. And once you're up here, you'll find 2 statues. One plate already has an apple, so we just need to drop an apple in the second plate next to it. If you miss, you can use Ultra Hand to pick it back up and drop it in. But once it's there, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 44. Number 45 is going to be found in the cluster of trees just south of Mount Rizzuto. And we're going to have some patterns of rocks down here. Our first rock is going to be up on the little cliff next to the tree. You can go ahead and bring that down and place it in the middle of the rocks on the right. And then if we go right here behind it up on this cliff, we're going to have another rock up top. Go ahead and grab this and turn around. And you don't even need to jump down. You can just extend this out with Ultra Hand. Put this on the very end in the middle. Once you do, the little poof will happen, our Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 45. Number 46 is going to be found just southwest of Mount Rizzuto. You'll see a tree on your map right next to the shrine indicator, and up in this tree is going to be a hidden balloon. Once you hit that balloon with an arrow, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 46. Number 47 is going to be found up by Bremen Peak. You'll actually see on your map we have a small pond up here. That's where you want to be. We're going to fly into the little cubby that's on the back side of the pond, and you'll find 3 statues with 3 plates. Now the plate in the middle is already going to have an apple in it. All we need to do is throw an apple in the other 2 plates. So we'll put one on the left side and one on the right side. And once all 3 plates have an apple, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 47. Number 48 is going to be found on top of the hill in between Bremen Peak and Mount Floria. Here is the location, and you'll find a little small rock up here on the top that you can pick up. Once you pick up that rock, the Korok will pop up and you'll get seed number 48. Number 49 is going to be found just north of Mount Floria. You can see on your map you have a pretty big tree on the ledge. Make your way to this tree and you'll see that we have an acorn that's hanging down from one of the branches. If you hit that acorn with an arrow, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 49. Our 50th and final seed for this region is going to be found at the peak of Mount Floria. All you need to do is make your way all the way up to the top. You'll find a pinwheel that's going to spawn 3 balloons behind you, and these are just going to keep disappearing and reappearing. So if you miss or it disappears, just wait. It'll pop back up. You can hit it, and once you connect with all 3, the Korok will appear, and you'll get your 50th and final seed. But this is how to find all 50 Korok seeds here in East Necluda. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.